Hello ladies and gents, Vaz the Viking Vazitron here with another vid, this time from the jungle. And I'm armed with a FAMAS, as you can see. I personally don't really like this weapon. Well, I do and I don't. I think it's a little stronger than the other assault rifles, and it gets me lazy when using other weapons, which is why I rarely use it. Right there is a perfect example. I just pulled the trigger and the guy gets hit with a headshot. I mean, come on, I didn't even aim. As you'll notice, this isn't the greatest round that I've posted so far, but I do rescue an amazing care package later on in the game, hence the title, and as you'll see, it changes the whole course of the game. You might be wondering why I'm using the reflex scope instead of a regular red dot sight on my gun. Even though it's bulkier, I prefer the reflex for one specific reason. Unlike the red dot, it doesn't have that stupid glint in the top left corner, which personally I find very annoying and often get killed because I can't see whoever's coming from the left. Also, I find the reflex to be a little bit more accurate than the red dot sight for some reason. But all in all, most of the time I don't use any sights on my weapons. So even now when I run around with the FAMAS, I usually use the iron sights so that I can have the dual mags instead, since they basically act as the sleight of hand perk. My kill streaks during this round were set up to the default kill streaks. I was too lazy to change them, so I've got a UAV, a care package, and a Cobra. Although to all you players out there, I really do suggest not using the Cobra, especially if you're in a pretty good team, as basically all the Cobra does is block the airspace for any chopper gunners or hinds, which is really annoying. It's happened to me and a few friends of mine, where we'd have our chopper gunners or hinds or whatever ready to be deployed, but couldn't call them in for the rest of the match, even though we might have been losing as a team, because some nooblets decided to take up the airspace with their Cobras. I'm not saying to not use the Cobra at all, but if you do want to use it, make sure you look at the scoreboard before deploying it. If you know your teammates are close to a hind or chopper gunner, I mean, just wait for them to use it. And if your team's getting its ass handed to it, also be sure to deploy a Cobra before the enemy can deploy his chopper gunners or hinds. Anyway, the Vazitron is having a ball right now because he's got a blackbird in the air, which he always enjoys. But to his dismay, he finds out that the entire enemy team is on the opposite end of the map, which makes him an extremely unhappy boy. However, he refrains from wasting his time to get across to where the enemy is right now, and waits patiently for the spawns to change. And his patience will soon be rewarded. From what I recall, my team wasn't doing too well at this point, so whenever I did hear a friendly care package inbound, I was actually worried, because inexperienced players seem to think that dropping care packages in wide open spaces is a great idea, which of course it isn't. I mean, look at that, a hind and a care package. Just imagine what would have happened if I wasn't there and the enemy got hold of it. It'd be game over at that point right there. Anyway, I got so happy about the hind that I just jumped in a corner and decided to deploy it without taking cover. And obviously died, but you know, oh well. Whoever killed me is still gonna get a can of whoop ass opened up on him, so it doesn't really matter. A free hind is probably the best thing that can happen to you in an open map like the jungle, so, you know, you can just imagine the grin on my face as I was piloting this little beast. And while it's more difficult to pinpoint targets and spawns than on a map like, say, Nuketown, there's an easy strategy to keeping your hind alive, and that's to stay on the edge of the map and pretty much ignore the side that's closer to you and keep on shooting at the targets located further away. That way the people that spawn closer to you can't aim at you because of the rock wall that blocks their view. So anyway, from what I recall, I think I got over 30 kills with just the hind, and won the game for my team, which was struggling at the beginning of the match. So all in all, a pretty good score, and yeah, that's it. So I'll see you guys next time.